A little while ago, a man contacted me and he said, you keep saying that we need friendship and we need community, but I don't really think it is. I don't think that it's all it's cracked up to be, and I don't really think that it's necessary. Why do you, Father, why do you keep thinking it's necessary? Why do you keep saying that it's necessary? Hi, my name is Father Mike Schmitz, and this is Ascension Presents. First off, I want to commiserate with someone who comes from that perspective, because my thought is not to read too much into someone's email if they write to me or they contact me somehow. But when someone has that perspective, typically I think it's coming from the perspective of someone who hasn't had that gift of friendship, of authentic friendship, of true community. And so it's kind of one of those, I'm doing fine. Why would I need this thing that I don't have? Because once you have it, like once you experience what family is, once you experience what community is, once you experience what a dynamic and actual encouraging friendship can be, then you realize, oh, this is important. Because here's the next thing. Because I think in some ways, friendship is one of those things that might not have a point. I mean, here, obviously there are helpful friendships, there's useful friendships, there are friendships of convenience and friendships of utility, right? That sense of like, we help each other, and that's great. That's the point, that's the use of those kinds of friendships. We talked about that in other places. In some ways though, friendship doesn't have a point. What I mean by that is, it's kind of like play, or it's kind of like art, that there's no point to really to play. I mean, you might say, well, I play so that I can stay healthy, or I play because, I look at art because, it keeps my brain active or something like this, or I do art because it keeps my dexterity dexterous, and that kind of thing. But in some ways, friendship and play and art they don't do anything. Like there's not a real utility that they add to life. And so we look at this and say, well, then what's the point? Like, why would you do this? Well, let's imagine life where we've taken out friendship. Let's imagine life where we've taken out beauty. Let's imagine life where we've taken out play, which actually might be a lot of us right now. We might be so isolated and so alone. Our lives might be so dominated by work that it's devoid of play. Our lives might be so dominated by utility that there actually is no room for art. There's no room for beauty in our lives. I would say that is the state of being for so many human beings right now in this world. And so we look around and say, well, what's the point? Well, let's see. A life without friendship, a life without beauty, a life without play. What is it? Well, you keep working. Well, yeah, why? To get more money, or to get more power, or to get more influence, to get more experiences. And that's what it seems like the goal of life. Again, without friendship, without art, without play, the goal of life becomes just get more. Or just get through, right? That's it. Just get more stuff, or just get through this thing we call life. Because of this, things like friendship, or beauty, art, or play, might not be the thing that gets us out of bed in the morning, the thing that we're living for, but they give meaning to life. They might not, I mean, in some ways you might say they might not be the meaning of life, but they give meaning to life. And because of that, when I don't have play, when I don't have art or beauty, when I don't have friendship in my life, I might actually be missing the most important things in life. Because as you've heard it said, I'm sure 1,000 times, the most important things in life aren't things. So is there a deeper reason why we would need things like friendship or community? And the answer is not only because friendship gives joy to life, and friendship gives kind of that spice and that again, another layer to our being able to enter into life, but also because it's what we're made for. Let's go back to Genesis, right? At the very beginning of the Bible, what happens? God looks at, he makes man, and he says, let us make him in our image and likeness. And chapter 1 says, male and female, he created them in his image and likeness. Later on in the Bible, Jesus reveals that God is Trinity, right? So here is human beings made in God's image and likeness, meaning we can think, we have an intellect, we can choose, we have a will, we can love, we can create. But above all, we're made in God's image and likeness. And what's at the heart of God's identity? The Catechism says that Jesus reveals the deepest identity to God, and that is God is an eternal exchange of love, a communion of persons, that God is love. And that means this: if God is love, And if you are made in God's image and likeness, what that means is that you are made for love. So someone asked me, what's the whole point of friendship? What's the whole point of community? That is actually not just to add spice to life, not just to add colors to life, not just to add dimensions to life, because that's the whole purpose that you're alive for, is to become a gift of love. In fact, John Paul II, he once said, St. John Paul II, right? He once said, man cannot live without love. Without love, man remains a mystery to himself. His life is senseless if he does not experience love and make himself a gift of love in return. That our life doesn't make any sense unless we make a gift of ourselves. That's one of the reasons why when I say friendship is the point of life, is not because it means like to be loved, but to be a gift of love. Yes, of course, we can only give what we've received. And so in that case, if I've never truly been loved by someone in that free way where they just choose you, where they just say, I want to spend time with you, I want to become a gift of myself to you, even just by spending time with you. If you've never had that experience, yeah, it's a painful reality. But you can actually initiate that. Because why? Because the Lord God himself has already poured out himself and his gift of love into your life and into your heart. You've already been the recipient of infinite, fathomless, unstoppable love. And because of that, you can become a gift of love. And if I don't, and if you don't, if we don't, our lives remain senseless. It doesn't make any sense. We remain a mystery to ourselves. So the young man who wrote to me and said, why should I have friends? Why should I want to be part of a community? It highlights this reality that it didn't make any sense to him. Because that's true. Life without love doesn't make any sense. I'm not talking romantic love, it's a whole other thing. But living without becoming a gift of yourself, of oneself, to anyone, doesn't make any sense. So my invitation is first to receive God's love, to go into your chapel, go in front of the Blessed Sacrament, go to Mass, and just be in the Lord's presence and say, okay, God, fill me up with your love. And then, Lord God, show me, point out to me who in my life right now can I become a gift of love for? Because until I do that, my life will remain senseless and I will not know who I am. I will not even know what I am, and I won't know the value of this incredible gift of friendship. But what do you think? I mean, does that make sense? Does it make sense to is it even possible to become a gift of love, to become a friend if you've never truly been chosen as a friend, to choose someone first? Maybe that could be the thing, but again, keep this in mind, God has chosen you first. So write that down in the comments below. Maybe that might help things. Anyways, from all of us here at Ascension Presents, my name is Brother Mike. God bless.